and welcome to another edition of Digging Deeper with Brian Hale. Brought to you by Hale Multimedia, website and mobile app development for over 25 years. That's halemultimedia.com. Now listen in and join me online at diggingdeeper.us. Tonight we're going to present two different things. This story is very important as it is the one that started the Amber Alert system, which I'm sure everyone gets on their cell phones. So please don't curse those Amber Alerts. They work and they're for a purpose. So thank you for listening to that segment and becoming more aware of the Amber Alert system and what you can do. We're also going to ask a few questions about how missing persons cases are handled. We are asking the question of when does a missing persons case become a potential homicide? Just because a person is missing for a long time does not mean that it's a homicide. But when several witnesses come forward claiming that they've heard stories that all match up, that a person was actually murdered, when do the police take action and shift the investigation from a missing persons cold case to an active homicide? We want to know because we believe there are several cases that have fallen between the cracks, and it's an absolute injustice to the families. This week we are approaching the 2-year anniversary of the disappearance of Chance Englebert from Gering, Nebraska. It was July 6th, 2019, when Chance went for a walk and was not heard from or seen past that day ever again. We're not pointing any fingers, but we want to know who's looking for Chance. What is law enforcement doing about this case? We're going to dig a little bit deeper into Scottsbluff County and ask those questions. Why are there so many open investigations on murders and now missing people? We want to know, and we're hoping someone from Scottsbluff County is listening and can provide a reasonable explanation why we know a lot more than they've told of the family members. Something isn't right here. We're not going to let it go. The truth is more important than anything now. We need to know. The families need to know what happened to Chance Englebert. Let's start off this segment with the Amber Alert story, and then we'll talk more about Chance. So we're going to shift a little bit there, and I'm going to tell you that there is some good that has come out of something bad, and that is the Amber Alert system. The Amber Alert system has actually helped find over 1,000 children and bring them home. And the startling statistic to me is that that's a 90% success rate. I would have argued that. In fact, I did. I looked it up, and those are the statistics, that very few children are actually not returned home. And surprisingly, the short amount of time in which they're returned home was very impressive as well. Look these statistics up on your own on the National Center for Missing and Endangered Children website, as well as through the Bureau of Statistics. I guess that would, where did I find that? I'll have to put that link up there. But there is a serious problem with missing children and with children being snatched up. So I took a little bit deeper dive into the Amber Alert system, where it came from, how it originated, why it was named what it is, and found some interesting information, of course. The reason this is really significant right now is because this was the 25th anniversary. In January, it was the 25th anniversary of Amber Hagerman missing from Arlington, Texas, in the parking lot of a Winn-Dixie, a closed Winn-Dixie. Her killer has never been found, despite 7,000 leads. and over 500 suspects cleared. So we need to pray a lot for this case, for Amber's mother and for her brother, Ricky, and for her mom, Donna. And we're going to read the story here for you. This case will get solved. Arlington police hope DNA evidence in Amber Hagerman's case will lead to answers. At a news conference for the 25th anniversary of her disappearance, police renewed their pleas to the public for any tips that could help bring answers to her family. Arlington police announced Wednesday, and this was in January, that they'll resubmit DNA evidence in the 1996 kidnapping of 9-year-old Amber Hagerman in hopes that technological advancements will help catch her killer. In a recent interview in the Dallas Morning News, investigators acknowledged for the first time that they have genetic evidence in the case. Originally, they didn't think they would have anything because of the age of the case and the fact that she was found in a washout and there had been a big storm. As the news conference Wednesday marked the 25th anniversary of Amber's disappearance, police renewed their pleas. We're submitting evidence, and we've maintained for 25 years that we believe could possibly provide us with results that could be a DNA profile. The newest detective on the case is Grant Gilden. Amber was abducted January 13th, 1996, while she was riding her bike in a parking lot in Arlington, Texas. The man who called 911 is the only witness who has come forward since that day. 4 days later, her body was found in a creek bed. Police are still using the same suspect description they provided in 1996. A white or Hispanic man under 6 feet tall, with a medium build, black or brown hair, and would have been in his 20s to 30s at the time. The suspect drove a full-size fleet-side single-cab black pickup with a short wheelbase, police said. It was in good condition with no damage, no chrome or striping, and a clear rear window. Gilden declined to provide specifics about what evidence police will submit because that's information only known to them and Amber's murderer. Recent breakthroughs in other cold cases give detectives hope. Police said the technology they plan to use in Amber's case is still being developed and it could be ready for testing as early as February, but they declined to provide any further details. However, they did say, "We believe this case will get solved. We believe there's no way the killer in this case could have committed the crime in the manner that they did without someone seeing, hearing, or having some knowledge of what happened. We believe someone out there still has information that will help." This is the case that led to the Amber Alert system. However, this was in 1996, and the Amber Alert system wasn't actually finalized until 2001. There's a tip line if anybody has any information. The Arlington police are still on this case. They want to hear from you. That number is 817-575-8823. That's 817-575-8823. They're gathering information about the case, and every little tip will help. Incidentally, Oak Farms Dairy is still offering that $10,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest and conviction in this case. Now let's listen into that full press conference, including words from Donna.
Almost immediately after arriving there, Amber and Ricky began riding their bicycles around the neighborhood. Ultimately, riding up Highland, down Ruth Street, and arriving here at this parking lot, the 1600 block of East Abram. At some point, Ricky returned, and Amber stayed here and continued riding her bicycle. Sometime around between 3:05 and 3:15 p.m., the eyewitness, who was still in his backyard, observed what he described as a young girl, long brown hair, riding her bicycle on this loading dock. He advised she appeared carefree and having fun. Short time later, he observed a black truck that he believed to be the same black truck that had previously been sitting here in the parking lot, driving west through the parking lot and stopping here at the north end of this loading dock. He advised the driver of that truck, who is the suspect in this case, exited the driver's door, and as Amber was riding her bicycle south, coming this direction, the suspect ran up behind her, grabbed her under her arms, and lifted her off of the bicycle, causing the bicycle to fall and continue lying on the ground. He described the suspect carrying Amber in that same position as she kicked and screamed to his truck and putting her inside the driver's side door and shutting the door. He then described that the driver drove north through this parking lot, hesitated momentarily before turning west on Abram Street and driving towards the center of Arlington away from the nearby highways. The eyewitness immediately returned inside his residence and contacted 911. The 911 call was received by Arlington Dispatch at 3:18 p.m. on the 13th of January. Officers were immediately dispatched to the location. Upon their arrival, they discovered the bicycle still laying here in this parking lot and began to interview the eyewitness. A short time after that, a gentleman showed up, identified himself as being Amber's grandfather, and identified the bicycle as being that belonging to his granddaughter, Amber Hagerman. At that moment, the kidnapping investigation began on January 13th, 1996. Personnel with the Arlington Police Department and various local, state, and federal agencies worked around the clock in an attempt to find Amber Hagerman. Unfortunately, on the night of January the 17th, 1996, at approximately 11:41 p.m., Arlington Dispatch received a call from a resident at the Forest Ridge Apartments, address 2908 Forest Hollow Lane. We have some descriptions here showing where these locations are throughout Arlington. The resident of Forest Ridge Apartments advised he was walking his dog in the northwest corner of the complex along a creek that runs on the west side of the apartments, and stated he had observed what he believed to be a body. Arlington police were dispatched and were able to identify the body as Amber Hagerman. This was on January the 17th, 1996, and at that point, the murder investigation began into this case. I would like to provide accurate suspect and suspect vehicle descriptions for this case. This is based off eyewitness testimony of the kidnapping that occurred here. The suspect is believed to be a white or Hispanic male in his 20s to 30s, was under 6 feet in height, medium build, and had brown or black hair. The vehicle description was a 1980s or 90s black pickup truck, described as a short wheelbase, fleet size pickup truck, and was a single cab vehicle. It was black in color, and the witness described there was no chrome, striping, or visible damage to the vehicle that he saw. Stated it was in good condition. Finally described the rear of the vehicle, the rear window, as being clear and not having a sliding glass. This is the accurate suspect description and vehicle description in this case. I'll now turn it over to Sergeant Ben Lopez to describe some of the investigation that has taken place over the last 25 years.
I'm Sergeant Ben Lopez with Arlington Police Department. I was a rookie patrol officer back in 1996 when Amber was abducted. I was actually working that day, and as all the officers that were working that day, when we heard the call go out, we all responded to the area of the abduction, which we are here next to today. I responded to the area and began looking for the suspect vehicle, began looking for Amber, and began, of course, looking for the suspect. Unfortunately, as we all know, her body was found a few days later. So what was a kidnapping investigation then became a murder investigation. Because of the overwhelming number of leads that we were receiving at that time, the department formed a task force to investigate her murder. I was one of the original members of that task force. That task force ran from February of 1996 until June of 1997. We had 12 detectives and 1 sergeant assigned to the task force. Among the detectives that were assigned, we also had a Tarrant County Sheriff's Office deputy who assisted us full-time. We also had assistance from the FBI and the Texas Rangers throughout the years that we've been investigating this. The original task force investigated and cleared over 5,500 leads. One of the things that we looked at that time was, is it possible that there were other witnesses who saw what happened but were fearful about coming forward? With it being a Saturday afternoon that was nice and the laundromat being right next door to the abduction, we were concerned that there could be people that were there at the laundromat who may have been undocumented and living in this country illegally. And we spent a lot of time putting out flyers and talking to the community to assure them that if there is a witness or witnesses who have that concern, we are not interested at all in pursuing any kind of deportation or any interest in their undocumented status. We would just ask that anybody with information come forward. Jim Ford was the original detective on this case. I worked with him when I became a homicide detective later in my career. When Jim retired in 2010, then I became the lead detective, and I had the case from then until 2018 when I promoted to sergeant. At that time, Detective Grant Gildon took over as the lead detective. Throughout the years since this happened, we've routinely looked at the evidence that we've had, and we've looked at new technologies that have developed during that time. We've contacted major labs across the country to speak with them and consult with them to see if there's anything new technology-wise that could help us and assist us in identifying the suspect. And that continues to this day. This case is personal to me because I've been involved in some aspect since the day that Amber was abducted. Also, it's personal to me because during the years I've come to know Donna Williams, Amber's mother, and Ricky Hagerman, Amber's brother. So that makes it more personal to me as well. I would love to be able to give Donna and Ricky and the rest of the members of their family the answer to the question that they would like to know. And of course that is, who did this to Amber, and bring that person to justice. At this time, I'd like to introduce Donna Williams, and she'd like to say a few words.
Hi, I just wanted to let everyone know about my daughter, Amber. She was just 9 years old. She loved school. She loved riding her bicycle. She loved being a little mommy to her little brother, Ricky. I miss her every day, and she's just so full of life, and I want to know why. Why her? She was only a little girl. And to Amber's killer, I'm asking you today, please, turn yourself in. Give Amber justice. Amber needs justice, deeply, deeply needs justice. And to anyone who has seen or heard anything about Amber's case, please come forward. Thank you.
We promised you we were going to talk about Chance a little bit after the Amber Alert story. We're not pointing any fingers at any of the family members on either side. We are not pointing any fingers specifically at any one investigator or any one policeman or any law enforcement officers. We back the blue. We believe in law enforcement. But law enforcement must include a lot of dirty work. And if you truly are going to say you're going to leave no stone unturned, then that's what the public will expect. So, I have one main question. Who is looking for Chance? That will tell us a lot about what's going on in Scottsbluff County. We'll have more on this with a full report, more podcasts, possibly input from other people in the community. And my hope would be to talk to law enforcement directly to find out what they're doing and what they can do or what we can do to help bring closure to these families. One way or another, we want to know, and so do they. We just pray for both sides of the family and pray, Lord, for peace and for cooperation in this missing persons case. And that does it for another edition of Digging Deeper. Visit our website to catch this podcast and many others anytime. You can also watch our live TV network, browse our on-demand content, read our controversial articles, or sign up if you feel led to join the cause for defending our Constitution. It's all on diggingdeeper.us. We appreciate you listening, and remember, visit diggingdeeper.us to learn more about what we're doing to bring truth to light.